Hi, I'm Carleen and welcome to this week's video. If this is your first time here, a very warm welcome to you, and if you're returning, we're in the kitchen today, so I hope that makes you happy. This week in the kitchen, we're cooking once and eating twice, using 1 cut of meat to create 2 family dinners and enough food for my husband to take lunch to work. My style of cooking is minimum effort, maximum payoff, and with a family of 5 to feed, I'm also really conscious of my food budget. If this is your first time in my kitchen, I'm from tropical Queensland and I have 3 boys aged 9, 6 and 1. Welcome to my home and let's get started. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and choosing to spend your time with me. It's summertime here at the moment, and overnight we got about 80 mils of rain between 10:30 at night and 8 a.m. this morning. So before the day gets away and the humidity strikes me down, we're going to get started with putting dinner in the slow cooker. People often think that the slow cooker is best for the cooler seasons to create a warm, hearty meal, but it is also wonderful in summertime because I can have dinner on the table and not have to be physically standing over a hot stove for hours. So, I mean, win-win, right? For all seasons. So on the menu tonight, I'm going to do pulled pork, and the boys and I couldn't decide on what we wanted to have with it. So they wanted to do burgers, but I wanted to have veggies and corn on the cob using some leftover potato salad from last night's dinner. So that's what we're gonna have. Now, while this pepper is taking forever to come out, I will just mention that this isn't the first time that I am using my Hope's Table recipe book again. I love the recipes in this book. I will add a link below if you have been intrigued by the recipes that I've been making lately and you wanted to grab a copy of the book. I will put a link down below for you to use. It was a birthday gift from my husband, which is very sweet. And I'm just going to add a dry rub to this pork shoulder roast that I got that we're going to use in the slow cooker to create dinner for tonight, but then also for tomorrow as well. And I will share that recipe below. In this week's grocery shop, I got a 2.5 kilo shoulder roast pork that was boneless from Coles. So it cost about $23 bucks. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all of that cooking, twine stuff that holds it all together, and then I'm just going to plonk that in, and I did it skin side down, and we're going to go ahead and massage in that dry rub. And this is really hard to do one-handed. Don't mind my camera skills there. So you want this to be coated as much as you can. This was quite a large piece of meat, so I probably could have gone in with a little bit more of that recipe, but it was enough and it was flavoursome. I did put the cut of meat skin side down because I was planning on doing like an Asian style recipe the next night and then like rendering that pork to do like a yummy like crackle on top, but it sort of just didn't quite go to plan the next day for dinner. As you would have seen in my thumbnail photo, I'd imagine, we end up doing crispy, cheesy quesadillas for dinner instead. I was just able to pull that meal together a lot quicker than the Asian style that I did have in my mind. So I have to film that one on another day for you. To serve our pulled pork, that can be used either in burgers or as a meat dish with vegetables and sides, which is the way I want to eat it, we're going to go with a homemade barbecue sauce. We're going to melt 1 tablespoon of butter in a pan and add in 1 whole onion. We're going to need 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. That's going to go into my measuring cup there, with 3/4 cup of tomato sauce, 1/3 cup of white vinegar, 1/2 cup of water, a tablespoon of, now don't come after me, do you say Worcestershire, Roy's sister sauce? Which one is it? I think it depends on where you come from, maybe. I don't have any liquid smoke, so I just went in with some smoked paprika, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of dry mustard, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. I found this recipe so easy to pull together. I can make this barbecue sauce ahead of time, so while the big boys are at school and I just have the little one at home with me. These are little things that I like to do in advance so that when it comes to dinner time, when everybody's tired and hungry, I can serve dinner in a more calm environment and not feel so stressed myself. We're just going to mix that together and I'll add that in once the onions are browned off. In the meantime, I want to prepare some crispy potatoes that will go well with either the boys' burgers or my corn on the cob that I want, and I plan on having potato salad, but the boys love these crispy style potatoes. If you've been in my kitchen before, you would have seen me make these, I feel, a million times before, but they are honestly not sick of it. So I'm going to keep on rolling these out because they're so easy for me to prepare. I just cut them into small pieces, microwave them for 10 minutes or so. And this I can do early in the day, and then I'll just throw them in the oven 20 minutes before I need to serve them, and they'll be nice and crispy. You can add in seasonings like onion powder, garlic powder, smoked paprika, oregano, and you can change those flavors up to suit whatever style of meal you're having, whether it's, you know, Mexican or Greek or Middle Eastern, whatever you like. And most of the hard work is now done. Now that it's later on in the day, it's time to portion off some of our meat, saving some for tomorrow's dinner as well, because I want to do most of the hard part of the cooking today so we can have a night of cooking tomorrow, just do an easy meal tomorrow. So I'm just popping that back into the slow cooker and then just turning that off to, you know, get that to start cooling down for the night. And I'm just going to go ahead and shred tonight's portion of the meat because we're going to do pulled pork tonight with our sweet tangy barbecue sauce and all the sides. And it's dinner time. We are ready to eat. Even Henry is ready. He's flicking me with his tail down there saying, come on mum, hurry up, feed me. Everyone's hungry. So there is our barbecue pulled pork for the night, our crispy potatoes, which are seasoned lovely. I've got our corn that I cooked up, just some basic salads because the kids like to eat it simple, on burgers. And I had some potato salad left over from last night's dinner, and I put extra barbecue sauce in a little dish there so that the kids can dip their potatoes into it. And dinner is ready. Overall, this is pretty easy to pull together, and it is definitely kid approved and family friendly. What do you think? Would you make this for dinner? How would you eat it? Like me, with corn on the cob, veggies, or would you rather do pulled pork burgers? Which one do you think your family would prefer? Let me know below. Chat to me in the comments below. That's a wrap on night one's dinner. Now let's flip over to day 2 and what we're having for dinner. Okay, we're going to use what was left over from last night's meal, and if I had the time, sorry, don't mind Henry in the background there, snuggling in to go to bed. If I had pulled all of the meat last night, I wouldn't be doing this now since I'm now chopping it, as you can see. I just ran out of time last night. I really needed to get dinner just on the table, so I literally just left it in there, turned it off, let it cool down. I just stuck it in the fridge and I thought I'll just deal with that later. And it's now later on the next day. So I'm going to cube that up, but you can save this job by just pulling it all at once if you were to do that the night before. We're going to pop it aside. And we're going to cube up a whole onion and we're going to saute that off in some butter to help add a little bit of flavour to tonight's meal. We're going to beef up the protein content by adding a can of 4 bean mix. You could add any other type of bean really, or brown lentils if you wanted to help stretch that meat and make your meat go further. If you want to save some money on your groceries and learn how to stretch out your food budget, I'll link a helpful video below on how to save money on your grocery bill. I'm going to just quickly put together a really simple salad to go with tonight's dinner because it is summer here. It is still pretty warm, so a nice refreshing salad will go well. Now that our onion is browned off, I'm going to add that meat in and help that cook off and cook through, crispy up those edges a little bit to add some more flavour. And I'm going to add some of the pork broth that came from the meat as it slow cooked yesterday. You can see it's a bit like gelatinous, a bit like jelly. Pork jelly. And we're going to add our can of beans as well, cooking that off in that pork broth so that it will absorb those nutrients and flavours. And to flavour tonight's meal, I'm going to use some homemade taco mix. If you want to learn how to make that, I will link that video below too. It was a part of my saving money on your food grocery bill video. I'm just going to finish off our salad with some capsicum because they were on special this week, and I thought that the flavors would go well in tonight's meal. If I wanted to be sneaky, I could have cooked these off, softened them up and added them to the meat mixture, but I just decided to throw that on the salad instead tonight. Now, one of the boys did request that, Mom, can you please not put corn in dinner tonight? So I left that off to the side there, but didn't end up putting it into dinner. But I mean, you can make a really simple salsa to go with this using some corn as well, or add it to your salad or add it to your meat if you didn't want to have anything extra on the side. You do you, right? So I've got some grated cheese there, and if you saw my last video on that summer salad, the taco summer salad that I made, I'm still obsessed with it, love it. I had some dressing left over, so I filmed this not long after filming that video. So I thought that would be a delicious dipping sauce for our quesadillas. If you want to learn how to make that, I'll link that video. And I thought some sour cream might go nice on the side as well. And I learned how to pickle some jalapenos with some garlic, so I will link that below. It was really easy, so if you want to try doing that too to help your food last a little bit longer. I hate throwing away food, so if you want to learn how to do that, I will link that below too. I found that really quick and easy to make. And we're just going to throw our tortilla into some hot oil in a preheated pan. I'm going to throw in some grated cheese, and I want to cook that off so it's nice and crispy and puffing up. And this is what dinner is looking like as it's coming together. So now that the cheese is melted, the edges are getting crispy, I can add a large spoonful of our pork mixture. I'm just going to spread that out to the edges. I'm going to flip that over, and I'm just going to pat that down. I have seen some people put like an upside down, like a little plate on there to help flatten it out, but I was just happy enough just to do it the easy way. And that's done. So this is obviously just one. I have 5 of us, so they were pretty much, the kids were coming in and eating them pretty much as I was making them because they were starving. I just garnished our little dipping sauces just to make it look a little bit more special for the family. Let them know that I put some love into this meal, even though I did most of the effort yesterday and not tonight. And that's tonight's dinner. Quick and easy and delicious as well. Now, I will mention that yes, we are a family of 5, but I do have small children, so they're not going to eat as much as a teenager. But for these meals that we made, there was enough leftovers for my husband to take to work for lunch, as well as leaving some leftovers for me to have at home too. And that's a wrap for this week's video. Thank you so much for spending some time with me as I cook in my kitchen. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so you don't miss my next video. I enjoy making videos about family food, simple living, and homemaking. Thanks for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye for now.